Okay, guys, I'm starting to wear out. So this is going to be 10.5B, which is going to be on mortgages. I'm going to start with just a basic mortgage problem where points are paid, and then looking at the cost of buying a home over the life of the loan. So I'm going to buy 180,000, and nowadays they're more expensive than that. How about a $250,000 home? I'm going to buy it over 30 years at 4.95% monthly payments and four 2 points at closing, as well as 10% down. So now I'm going to talk about a few things. I'm not going to write them all down. I'm just going to talk about them. You can listen to them. You can pause them. You can back me up. Okay, points. Um, First of all, points are basically prepaid interest. Your realtor, when you go to buy a house, will say what their interest rate they can get you is, and then will say, but I can get you a better rate if you're willing to pay points. And you go, what do you mean? And she'll say, well, if you can pay 1 point, I can get you this rate, which will be lower. If you can pay 2 points, I'll get you this other rate, will be even lower. So this person says to you, I can get you 4.95% if you're willing to pay 2 points. You're going, yeah, but what's a point? A point is a percent of the value of the house that's being borrowed, not the amount that you're paying for the house. So to calculate your points on this house, have to start out with how much is the down payment? Well, you're going to put 10% down. So on a $250,000 home, if you put 10% down, you're going to put $25,000 down, which means you're going to borrow. I subtract the 25,000, you're going to borrow 225,000. If you're going to pay the points to get a lower interest rate, that's going to be 225,000 times 0.02. So I'm going to do that on my calculator, 225,000 times 0.02. That is 4,500. 0.02. That's 4,500, which means you need the 25,000 and the $4,500 or $29,500 at closing. Now, you might be going, wow, that's a lot of money. Even the 25,000 might seem way higher than you can afford. But remember, the more you put down, the better interest rates they're going to offer you. If you can't afford to put much down, they're going to charge you more interest on the home. It's going to cost you a lot more in the long term. But a lot of people just go, well, I'll never be able to save up $25,000, so I'm going to have to pay a higher interest rate. Okay, so that gives you an idea. So this person's going to need $29,500 at closing to buy the house. The $4,500 is part of the closing cost. The down payment is not considered part of the closing cost, but you will need the $29,500 at closing. All right, so now let's calculate what your payment is. So what will the payment be? Now, the TVM solver will calculate what they call your P&I, your principal and interest. It is not the only thing you have to pay. You also have to pay taxes on the house and you have to pay insurance on the house. No company will give you a loan on a house unless you insure it for its full value. And the taxes must be paid. So those are your property taxes. So most loan companies, virtually all of them, will require that you pay them those two things with your payment. I'm telling you that because I don't want you to be shocked when you go to buy your first house. Give you an example. Our house payment was about $750, but we had $400 was taxes and insurance. So we actually paid $1,150 every month on our house. Okay, so it was a lot, that really wasn't going towards the P&I, which is what the calculator is going to give you. All right, so we're now ready to go to the calculator. We turn our calculator on, we go to the app, we go to the TVM solver, and we're ready to put in our values. So in this case, this is a 30-year loan, so it's 30 times 12, which is 360. And if you don't know that, you can just put in 30 times 12. The interest rate is 4.95. Okay, the present value of the house, that's the amount you're borrowing. So PV is the amount you're borrowing. In this particular case, you're borrowing $225,000. Okay, so you're going, well, what happened to the 4,500? You paid that up front. Sometimes they'll embed it in the loan, but that's just, we're not going to go to there. All right, you're going to pay off the loan, so your future value will be 0, and your payments will be 12, or your PYCY will be 12. So go up to payments and put your cursor on payments. So FY is 0, or FV, excuse me, and PYCY are 12. And now go up to payment and put alpha enter. And you can see, whoop, that's not right. All right, so I got the wrong number because I forgot to change my present value. I still have the car loan in there. So I got to change my present value to $225,000. And now my payment is $1,200.98. On $1,200 and then 98 cents, $1,200.98, which is just the payment, not counting the interest, or the insurance, and not counting the taxes. That is counting the interest. That's how much you're going to pay every single month for 360 months. All right. So, by the way, the reason I knew I made a mistake, I forgot to change that from the car problem. And so my payments were only $112. And I thought, no, no, no. There's nobody who's getting their house for $112 a month. My brain knew that. And so I immediately checked to see what I entered wrong. All right. So now the question is, what will your total amount paid for the house? What in total, this is going to shock you, did you pay for the house? And so that is $1,200.98. And you did that 360 times, plus you put $25,000 down, plus you put down 4,500 in closing costs. Let's get those numbers. So I'm going to take the 1200.98, and I'm going to multiply that times 360. You'll be shocked. It's $432,352 plus $25,000 that you made down, plus $4,500 that you paid in points. And that gives you 461,852.8. So you paid $461,000, almost $462,000 was paid to buy a $250,000 home. And that may seem like, what? Why would anybody do that? We do it because the value of that house is also going up over that 30-year period, usually, not always. And it gives us a place to live, and it gives us home ownership, which many of us like. So, for instance, when I bought my house in Scottsdale, I had a townhouse there. My payments were only like $700 a month, and that was including taxes and insurance. I bought the house for $91,000. When I sold it for $151,000. And that same property, I sold it in 2002. That same property today is probably worth about $310,000. So if I had kept it, you could see that even though I had made all those payments, it would now have exceeded its value over what those payments were. Okay, my last thing I'm going to talk about before I leave this one, and then we're going to talk about refinancing in the next one. The last thing I want to talk about is points. Should you pay them or should you not pay them? Because people will say, oh, I got lower interest rate because I paid points. And so I go, well, that's not necessarily a good idea. So I've done the math. It's a good idea if you believe you will live in the house for more than 5 years. So if you're buying a home that you plan to raise your children in and retire in, you definitely should pay points. But if you're buying a home that you plan to live in until the babies start coming, and then you'll plan to sell it and buy a bigger home, and you're planning to have kids in the next couple of years, then you should not pay points. Now, of course, things change, and so you have to make the decision based on what you think the truth is at this point. So when I bought my home in Scottsdale, I did not pay points because I was moving to Phoenix. I figured I would live in that home for a few years until I knew the valley better and then move to a place that was better suited for me. So I did not pay points. I ended up living in that home for 12 years. So I should have paid points. But at the time I was making the decision, it didn't make sense to pay them. Okay, ready to go on to the next video.